everybody. As I've said, I am here with Aurelie from Soulful Queen Tarot. We met whilst working together at a really lush hotel in London, and we just hit it off from the first day that we met each other. There was an auric, energetic vibe, and since then we have becoming friends and developing our tarot understanding together. So,
Hello, thank you for
Aurelie, I'd
having
love
me
you
first. I'm
to
very, very
introduce
excited.
yourself.
So my name is Aurélie. I am a French girl from the south of France, not from Paris. I've been living in London for 10 years now, and I'm a tarot reader. I'm an advice giver. I am a people manager, which is my biggest skill. Yeah, I'm a peacekeeper. I think that's my main characteristic. And I use cards to kind of like, I mean, cards are made to give advice and guidance, but I'm trying to do it in a way, when you have that very good friend that you always go to for advice, I'm that friend. And sometimes you don't listen to your friends, but if your friend show you
Mm.
with the cards that she's right, then it makes it a little bit easier. And I realized that by using it on my friend first and realizing that actually everyone can benefit from that special skill that I've got.
Mm, mm. How
So
did you get
tarot
how did you
itself,
get into tarot?
I
Like, where
started
did that
looking
come from?
into it slightly before the pandemic started, and that was because of a very good friend of mine, a very good friend of mine that's called Luc. That is a EFT tapping tarot life coach, and he was starting to just dig into it and sending me pictures of cards, and I
Mm-hmm.
just started to be really drawn by the imagery of tarot and all the little symbolism. And I'm a Gemini, so I'm naturally extremely curious, and I want to learn about everything. And when something catch my attention, if it's a very good thing, I'm really gonna dig deep into it. So I started looking into it, but obviously I would say I was a little bit scared of the cards. And I think that it was because I knew myself that there was things that I should be doing or not doing, path that I should take, and I didn't want to listen to that voice that was trying to like take me to the right way. And for me to own card and pull my own card would be me not being able to not face the truth. Do you know what I mean? So I was saying that to my husband, and then
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
my 35th birthday, he gives me my first deck of cards and told me, "Now you've got the card, let's do it." And from
Mm.
there, just went into a rabbit hole of correspondences and symbolism and looking into all the different type of religion and spirituality, and everything is taking you back to sign and symbolism. Everything is linked, and you can find all those links in the tarot, in those cards. It's
Mm.
absolutely. I'm just obsessed with it because of how much
Mm.
of a great tool it is for everyday life, really.
Mm. 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 So what would you say? Because you do this thing sometimes where you put out on Instagram your card of the day, which I always find very amusing,
You know.
especially when like the devil
Mhm.
shows up, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
I feel you, I'm with you. That's not very pleasant. But you know, it comes up for a reason, even still. So I'm curious, Aurelie, what would you say is like your most favorite tarot card, and what is your least
Mm,
favorite tarot card?
So I would say my least favorite is probably the Eight of Swords, um, because I tend to do this quite
Okay,
easily,
why?
to kind of like be in my head and be in a situation where I kind of put myself into that situation, and I can very easily get out of it. But I decide that not today. I'm just gonna
Mm,
be whingy about it. Um, and when I get it, it's annoying because it's also a sign for me that today you can be a little bit like, but also I don't want to be that person. So when that card comes out, I have mixed feelings about not what I'm supposed to do, but
mm,
how do I take that today? And I know when it's linked to me, or when it's not linked to me with the card of the days, which is also quite
mm,
interesting. Um, so that would be, I would say, my least favorite one to experience for myself. And my favorite one, I've got two. I've got the sun, just because when I look at the card, I just smile. Like it's just like it just makes me feel like full of warmth and just very happy.
Yeah.
And the other one that I really like is death, because I always pull death for myself or for my friends
Mm.
when when you struggle to take that decision that is just going to be very much like getting rid of something completely, like killing it, to have something new and beautiful coming out of it. And a lot of time, I need that card to take
Mm.
the next step. So, like when I had this moment where I
Sure.
wanted to quit my job because I found that I couldn't study tarot and have my clients and work in hospitality. And I was hoping to pull that card, and it never came out. It never came out. What came out is the Queen of Swords, the King of Swords. The
Mm.
go and get what you want. Tell them what you want, and they're gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
So it's
These are
Death card I think
cool.
is my favorite
Yeah.
because it's the one that really motivates me. And then I have a love-hate relationship with the Devil card. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, who doesn't? I mean, yeah, who doesn't? I think my two least favorite cards is actually the Ten of Swords
Mm,
and the Devil. It's like a love-hate relationship with the Devil card, basically. I mean, I find the sword
very
suit in general
unpleasant.
just mostly unpleasant, you know? Very unpleasant. I mean, I don't really enjoy the
Yeah.
Five of Coins either. The Five of Coins is a bit like, oh,
Oh my
this is
God,
what
where am I
I pulled
going with
that
that?
card for the collective reading for the week, and I was just like, I was like, why? I think I have like three favorite tarot
Mm,
cards, which is like Strength because I'm a
mm-hmm.
Leo. You know, there's a lion on the card. Can't
Yeah.
not like it. The Fool, I really like the Fool because there's
Yeah.
something about it which is like
Yeah.
interesting. I think it's similar to Death. You know, the Fool is kind of similar to Death
I
in
love
many
the
ways,
magician.
and
That's
the Magician.
it's
You know,
really the
again,
trick.
you know, yeah. It's so many. There's so many to like. I think those are like my three favorites, and then yeah, those two are probably the three least favorites,
Yeah, the
like the
Five
Ten
of
of Swords, the
Coins is a
Devil,
bit
and the
like
Five of
the misery one.
Coins.
But I
I
always
think
say, like, when I
probably
pull it,
are
I'm just like,
similar.
is there, like, can I ask for help? And I probably can, because there's light behind that church window, and there's a door probably on the other side of the
Mm,
wall. Am I going to go and knock on the door, or am
mm,
I going to stay in the cold
mm.
and try to sort it out by myself? Mm, so
Interesting. Interesting. Gotcha.
I can't,
Yeah, that's not
I
good
can't see
to.
it, but I'm
There's
like,
no doors
there's
on
a
my.
window, so
There's no
maybe
doors on my
on the other
deck, but I
side of
see
the
what you
wall here.
mean.
I'm always like, what's on the two sides
But there's
of the
not even
image?
a
Do you know what I
window,
mean?
you know.
Like,
But
what are they
oh,
looking at? Like, trying to create a story, which that's what tarot is about,
yeah.
really. Tell a story, create a story. Mm-hmm.
It's a lot about storytelling. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to put you on the spot
Tell
now,
me.
Aurelie, and you can say pass because you haven't prepared yourself and it's
Mm-hmm.
not the right time. But if I pull a tarot card,
Yeah, I think I can.
will you give me a short reading on that card?
Let's try.
Are you
Let's
sure?
try.
Sorry,
I think it
it
is.
just
Let's
came to
go.
me in
Let's
the
go.
moment.
Let's
Let's.
do
Do
it.
you want? Is that okay? Okay. I'm gonna check that it's not the cards now. Let me shuffle. Let me shuffle. If we get one of my least favorite cards right now, I'd be like, Spirit Team, what are you doing?
So if the devil is
What's
coming out,
going
I'm screaming.
What's going on? Like, why do you do this to me? Okay. Um.
What do
Okay.
we have? What did we get?
Oh, great. The
I
King
love the King
of
of
Pentacles
Pentacle.
is what we
The
got
King
going
of
on here.
Pentacle is the boss man. Is the boss man. Is the
Oh, me too.
entrepreneur. He's got his shit together. He's got his business in check. Money is saved where it needs to be saved. Seeds
Mm,
are planted. Everything is growing, and it's like being in your power in a material,
mm,
professional point of view. Do you know what I mean? And it's like and it's also like also people see that you're the
mm,
boss. People can see that you. I love to say like you're that bitch, and they
mm,
know,
mm.
they know. But it's just like, and on the right away, the way he's standing like this and he's throne and there's grapes. There is so much. There's a castle behind. It's just like so luxurious. I really like that, and I think that's like you are a boss man. You
So,
definitely having your business in check. You're doing your thing. Can't go there? Fine, go this way. Just like straight to the point, and like there's no faffing around. I really like that, and
mm,
that's also like one of the characteristic for me of the
mm,
king of
mm,
contact. It's just the way that nothing is an issue, and it's like if this doesn't work again, I can make it work that way because I know it's gonna work. It's like big sense of self confidence. Like the power, this very powerful card for
mm,
me, and like
mm,
strong, very strong masculine energy. Not only because it's a king,
mm,
but because of what the
mm,
king represents. And I have a little crush on you because we very much
mm,
you look like
mm.
my husband a little bit. So just like you very much, yeah. That's the king.
I do look a bit like your husband, yeah, which I thought was so funny because when he was like, "Oh, you're quite handsome," I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
thanks." And then I saw a picture of your husband. I was like, "Oh,
I
this is
think
obviously why."
he's
Because we look.
six
How
foot
tall is your
one,
husband?
I would say. I think. Yeah.
Okay, he's slightly taller than me then. Yeah, 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 he's slightly taller, but
Yeah.
I thought
No.
that's quite funny. But yes, King
Mm,
of Coins, I take it. Thank you, Aurelie. Anything more you want to add? Like, if I was your
well, I said
client and I
it
pull
would
the
it
King
would
of
depend
Coins,
of the
anything more you
question,
would
but I
like to
would
add? I mean, I
definitely,
concur to everything that you
depending
just
of the
said.
person I have in front of me, I could also warn the person in terms of the other side of that card, which can be someone that is in fact a little bit too bossy and too, like I know what it is, my way of the
Mm,
highway. Do you know what I mean? That kind of vibe. And I like to, I don't read reverse, but I like to always,
mm-hmm,
depending of the question and the person, look at the both sides of
mm.
the card. And maybe also a sense of if it would be reverse, if we would take it in the other
Sure.
sense, like, are you actually in control of your finances and your business and the thing you're doing? Is there something there where you lack a little bit of structure, maybe? So it would all depend of the vibe that I get from the
Mm,
person and the
mm,
question, because really and truly the question is the most, for me at least, this is what I spend the most time on when I have a private client, is finding the right question with the right words, because
mm.
sometimes if you don't ask the question properly, you might get an
Yeah.
answer that don't make sense on the moment and you realize after. No worries.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and I mean this quite nicely. Thank you so much for that. That was
Yeah, I
really
know it
useful. And
is.
I go for the first thing, everything is in control. Just about. Perfect. But this kind of leads me on to one of my questions, which is
So
how do you work with
what I
how
do
do you work with
is
clients, really?
I don't really like doing online reading, though I started because it's kind of needed, but
Okay.
one of the way that I connect is by putting my hands on people's hands, because the first thing I'm gonna get is a body sensation, that will give
Mm,
me a little bit of an indication in which mental space the
mm,
person is. Um, Now I always have a 15-minute call first, take contact, have a little chat, and trying to find out what they want to talk about, what is
mm-hmm,
it that they need guidance on, and also see if am I the right person to help them. Because there's also sometimes people where I'm like, I will ask them, are
mm,
you doing therapy? Do you have a therapy? Because sometimes it's like, this is not my place to help you with that issue. Some people have very
mm,
very intense thing where I can very quickly see that I'm not the best person to help, but then I always try to direct to other practitioners that could be more adapted. But if I see that I'm the right person,
mm,
we then
mm,
book an hour and they will come to see me in the space where I work, One Each Strength. On Sundays, I always do Sundays or Saturdays sometimes, but Sundays and afternoon. And they come, we have a tea, little conversation, between that first phone call and the meeting, I'm gonna ask them to draft their question, and they will send me the question on WhatsApp, and I'll look at it and tell them, maybe like work around it or question it, because when people ask you things that are based on someone else's actions, or that are faith-based, like, am I going to get married next year? I can't answer that question, my love. So I need them to be precise. Like, what do I need to do in order to meet someone that is aligned with me
Mm.
spiritually and we have the same family value? Like, be precise, because you can get married next year to a
Mm.
dickhead if you didn't, sorry,
Right.
didn't, you know, so yeah, you need to be very
It's
precise.
swear,
So
it's
once they've
fine.
got that question, we meet, little tea, talk about the question. Then we have like a little 5 minute breathing, little meditation. I'm not yet super comfortable at running meditations. And just because, I've got like this imposter syndrome and I
Mm.
compare myself a lot to other people. So when I hear to you voice, for example, doing meditation, or my friend Luke or my friend Desiree, I'm like, I don't sound like this. I'm very much like the Tasmanian devil, like, so it's a little bit, I try to do something that is relaxing for them for like a little, 3 to 5 minutes. I often have my hand on their hand, which allows me to kind of have this first contact and exchange of energy. And then I've got the question written on paper, start shuffling my cards. I often have either
Mm.
the urge of them pulling the card, or they can't touch the card and I'm the one that have to pull them. And this I know just when I'm shuffling for some reason. Um, and yeah, from there, like, it's all about my how do you call that, my spread that I prepare once I've got the question 2 days before. I might come on the day and be like, actually that's not the spread, we should change and do this and this and this, but that all very much come intuitively on the moment.
Mm.
um and then we pull the card. I always ask my client first what they see, because there's a lot of time where people are giving you only the information that they think you need to have, and you then have to be the one digging and finding out those things that are not unveiled, or like the things that maybe they're not aware of or that they don't want to be aware of, um, or that they think that they let go of already when it's still here. And when they tell me what they see, we then start the
Mm.
interpretation with what's the basic meanings and then what I think it means for them. And then the main point is leaving that consultation with clear goals. So in the next months, this is the things that you want to do more of. This is the thing you want to do less of. That's the thing you want to look out for.
Mm.
And really and truly, once we had that consultation, um, I mean, people have my phone number. They have my phone number. They've got my Instagram. I'm never like, you need to pay me for me to answer a message. So I'm kind of like, I would say, available after that. I like to be quite uh, accessible. Once I gave you my time, you gave me your money. The least I can do is
Mm.
still be approachable. And if I don't have time, I will say it. And I think that so far people have been very respectful of that. So I really appreciate. Um, but yeah, that's the way I work. I try to do it very, very
Mm.
lightly, with the less woo-woo possible, because some people get scared. Um, and some people are
Mm.
like, how do you know that? Or that's weird. That's weird. It's something I hear a lot. Oh, that's weird. I'm like, it's not weird. It's the card. They know. I'm just the channel, really. Um, and yeah, that's my way of working.
Mm. How interesting. So it sounds like, thank you for sharing. It sounds like you used the tarot more
Yeah,
like coachy, mentory, advisey, therapeutical, rather than sort of leaning too much
yeah,
perhaps into
definitely.
like mediumship or clairvoyance or psychicism. Or although I'm sure you naturally like that just sort of seeps through, but it sounds to
Yeah,
me like you use it
yeah,
more as
yeah.
like
That's
a coaching
that's pretty
coaching
true.
tool, basically. Would you say that's true? How come you've chosen how come you've chosen to go down more like a coachy route rather
I
than more like a sort of
think
psychic
I
clairvoyant
think
route?
the
Like what
main
was
reason
the
is
how do you see
because
that?
that's kind of what I do on a daily basis. So I've been working in hospitality for 20 years and for Soho House for 7 years,
Yeah.
and I'm managing teams. So I manage teams. I give them advice to
Right.
advance in their career, really. And there's nothing that pleases me more than when I hire someone as a runner and they end up being a floor manager,
Mm.
because I know I helped you creating all those, putting in place all those actions and building those steps so you can be where you are now. And I have so many past member of staff that will still message me now and be like, "Oh, you're the best manager I ever had. Thank you so much for your advice, blah, blah, blah." And same thing. So I grew up in foster care. I'm very comfortable saying it, for the good reason that it wasn't like my mom is a great woman. She just at some point she just couldn't do it anymore, and she said, "Please, can you take care of my kids?" So I ended up when I was about 7, 8, surrounded by kids that were going through a lot compared to me, that were just here because my mom was really loving and aware that she
Mm.
couldn't do it. Those kids were in massive suffering. They were in positions that were horrible. And I saw so it's called educator in French, so the people that in foster care that take care of you, just make sure that you eat, you wash yourself, and just teach you social skills, really. I could see them talking to kids and managing to get some people that were in a very dark space in their head out of this, and helping them finding again building the steps to get out of this craziness.
Mm.
So younger, I wanted to do their job. That's what I wanted to do, but I couldn't. Life started working in nightclubs, and
Mm.
then hospitality became my thing, and then my passion is people. I love. I find it fascinating how people behave depending of the space they're in, what's the lighting, how loud is the music, what are the people around. And I find it easy to advise people when they're like, "Oh, this is what I want. Have you tried behaving a little bit more like this? Have you tried when you see that person maybe
Mm.
not having music in the background, if you try to have that conversation?" Like things like this. And when I started using tarot on my friends as guinea pig, there was a lot of that in there, a lot of comportamental kind of thing that I could see in the cards.
Mm.
So that's the next step for me. I have so the school that my friend Luke, that is a coach, attended for his diploma. I contacted them, and hopefully in January I can start my course officially, because now I want to be careful. I don't want to give advices that I'm not given the right way, or that end up having a bad impact in the long run. Do you know what I mean? So I want to make sure that I've got all the
Sure.
right tools and the right knowledge and the
Yeah.
training to be able to put this in my bio.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely makes sense. And I mean, I even from what you were saying earlier, I love your high level of like moral and ethics and the decisions that you're making accordingly to that. Basically, I think that's really important. And thank you for sharing that story about being in foster care. And yeah, I'm like you, I just love
Yeah.
people, love working with people, love bringing the best out in people, which is just love doing that. And I suppose I dance this dance between sort of giving spiritual guidance, a bit of
Yeah.
psychic, and a bit of clairvoyance. It sort of becomes this package, basically, which I quite like. So it's a nice dance to dance that. So just, I didn't ask you a question earlier, just to start bringing everything to a close, because I'm really curious about what this means to you. I have two things I'd love to hear from you. Is first of all, what does spirituality mean to
Spirituality.
you,
So
already?
I would say that I personally found this spirituality, that space where I can feel fulfilled and happy and at peace with myself. And it's I
Mm.
don't religions for me are very different from spirituality, and even though it's linked, I believe that everyone's spirituality is and should be different, and you should make it your own. So from in my case, I'm
Mm.
taking principle for a little bit different religions, and I'm trying to make it my own. Again, that thing that I know I can retreat in by myself and just be
Sure.
at peace. And I think all we all have a lot of ways to try to escape and feel better and feel more relaxed. Yeah, the little glass of wine, the little spliff, the little this, the little that. I think
Mm.
that spirituality is what actually can take over all that pain and all those energies and emotions that are just not nice to
Mm-hmm.
feel, and to process them. I mean, I've been praying and crying at the same time, like, and you don't even know exactly why you're crying right now, but it's so much of everything in that you need to evacuate it, and it's not necessarily sadness. So for me, spirituality is a madness, and I can't even. I'm still coming to terms with my new view on how I how do you say, traverse the world, how I evolve in the world, like who I am now that I
Mm.
found that place and that space. For me, spirituality is really my own little space. And then when I meet people
Mm.
like you, I can open my space and we just like, oh look, we have the same lamp. And it's just nice. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just yeah, it's a safe spirituality for me is your
Mm.
own safe space and what you decide to make of it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, makes absolute sense. You do.
Card,
How do you bring calm into your daily life,
calm,
Orly?
calm, like
Calm, calm.
peace,
Sorry, calm, calm, calm.
breathing.
Yeah, like
I think I
peace.
think that especially for the job I do,
Mm.
going to the back of our house, we've got an altar where I work. I made a little altar for the team, and I say when you feel overwhelmed, just go there. They all put their little piece of things that remind them home or their mom or whatever. Go to the altar, close your eyes, take 3, maybe 5 deep breaths, come back to the floor. I think that has been breathing and water. That's the two things. Have a big glass of water and breathe. That's the way that I've been managing for so many
Yeah.
years to not assault anyone on shift. That when I need it's just like there's a bit of this like calm. I think mainly water and breathing, and as you know, I'm a smoker. So I would say that another way I bring calm into my life is by having my little spliff in bed before I go to my dream space.
Sure.
And I think there's also another thing, the people you surround yourself with,
Sure.
and keeping everyone in check energetically. That's also another way to bring calm and keep calm into your life. Because once people understood the way you want to be treated, everything is pretty smooth. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, 3, 4 things.
Mm. Four things. That's great. I love the idea of the altar and having some deep breaths in front of that. I think that's a nice anchoring point. So where can
So
people,
best
how would
way
someone book
is
in a session
Instagram.
with you? How can people
So
find you
my
online?
Instagram is Soulful Quintaro.
Sure.
Just drop me a DM. We decide on a date. I put in the calendar, and then we have a little phone call. Um, Maybe like 2, 3 days after. I have this thing that when someone contacts me, I will meditate. I will maybe pull a card and try to find out a little bit more about the situation before I have that first phone call. So that's why I wait 2, 3 days before we do the first phone call, and
Mm.
then we can take it from there. Instagram for now. I really need to work on like the website, the booking system. There's a lot of things I need to get sorted. So July is my big holidays, and my 15 days of holidays are dedicated on getting all of this sorted. No work, no Soho house, only tarot.
Sounds good.
Yes,
A
exactly.
bit of King of Pentacles energy, basically. Exactly.
Thank
I was going to
you.
say exactly. Thank you so much. I love hanging out with you. This was incredibly insightful. And yeah, thank you for everybody who came on. And I don't know who's going to come on
Thank
next
you so
time,
much,
but
all.
that'll be
See you
something
very
someone
soon.
exciting.
Bye
So
bye.
thank you so much,
Bye
Arlie,
bye.
and see you soon. Thank you.